Did you know that Tentacruel's only had 4 cards printed in the last 7 years? Talk about Tentacruel and unusual punishment. Welcome back, everyone, to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today we're going to take a look at a very cruel and unusual deck. It's Tentacruel. Do you get it? Tentacruel and unusual? Oh, very funny. This deck is very, very strange. It's not one that you're going to be able to get wins with all the time, but when you do pull it off, it is a fantastic feeling. A little bit of energy denial, a little bit of pressure. Let's jump over to PTCGO and check out the deck. So this list is very interesting, as I mentioned, featuring Tentacruel as our main attacker. We've got 2 things that we can do here. The first one, though, Wicked Tentacles, is the one that we're most interested in. For 1 colorless energy, we can move an energy from one of our opponent's Pokemon to another one of their Pokemon, and then put 3 damage counters on the Pokemon that we attach the energy to. Now, it's not that big of a deal to put the damage counters down, frankly. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remove energy from attackers. Think about it this way. Things like Eternatus only attach 1 energy per turn, and when that energy is being removed from their main attacker, it can be quite difficult for them to keep up. So we're going to try and get this to work. Eventually, when they run out of energy, we can attach as many energy to our Tentacruel as we want and use Wrap for 60, maybe paralyze them. If we do, that's fantastic, and start to put pressure on that way, and otherwise we just deck them out. We're gonna try and do that. The other ways that we've got a little bit of energy denial in the deck, obviously the forever loved Crushing Hammer, this is in the deck. We're playing energy denial, we're focusing on removing energy, so I think it's only fair that we play it. I'm sorry to those people that don't really like that. And we also have 2 copies of Prankish Clefable. This allows us to put 1 energy from our opponent's active Pokemon on top of their deck, so we can remove multiple energy in a turn. If we don't want an opponent's Pokemon to have more than 1 energy on it, we can Prankish, remove that energy, and then move another energy using Tentacruel, which can be very, very good. We've also got a copy of Absol in the deck as well. Dark Ambition means that our opponent aren't going to be able to move basic Pokemon easily from the active. We might boss something up and try and lock it there, and that'll work in combination with Galar Mine as well. So what we can effectively do is we can remove energy from Pokemon that we don't want to have energy, and we can put energy onto Pokemon that don't need it, bring up something that can never retreat, and try and lock our opponent out of the game that way. Now I will throw it out there, I've got a game for you, but it is just one. Alright, it's going to take a little bit of time, so strap yourselves in, it's going to be a good one. Alrighty, we have ourselves a start here. We've got a Tentacruel in the active, and thank you very much to the people in my comments and in my Discord. If you want to find that Discord, it's down in the description. By the way, whilst you're there, like the video. If you like the video, then like the video. But yeah, they mentioned that if I right-click on these cards, I can actually see the amount of HP that's left, and that's a piece of information that I didn't know before. So thank you very much to those people that pointed it out. Greatly appreciated. I don't know what we're playing up against here. I think we've got, I mean, there's a fighting... Oh, okay, we're looking at Dragapult. They're doing the fancy, like, oh, look at me, I'm playing a fighting type deck. Dragapult here. This is very interesting. This could be a good deck for us to play against. Because they usually have very small amounts of energy, and that means that the Meowth that's on the bench is probably going to be for a Persian to reduce the attack cost of Pokemon that have Catidae as an attack. We've got Galar Mine here. Crushing Hammer is the first card we're playing, though. Tails is bad. Let's play down the Mine. I think we have to just research. We're looking for another Tentacruel if we can get them. Oh, Crushing Hammer is very good. Heads. Beautiful. Okay, so that's slowing our opponent down. Let's Quick Ball. I'm going to get rid of this Marnie. I don't really want to play that. Let's grab ourselves a Tentacool. I think that's going to be fine. We'll grab that, put that onto the bench, and then just pass. We're not too stressed at the moment. We want to make sure that we get ourselves a decent board set up, and then eventually we can start removing more and more energy. And the fact that there's a Dedenne on the bench is going to be really good, because we can put the energy onto Dedenne, because the psychic energy is not going to be particularly useful for it. So that's brilliant news for us. Now, here's a problem. If they are able to attack with Dragapult this turn, we will see a knockout, because our Tentacruel is obviously, it's weak to Psychic. The VMAX will just knock it out in one hit anyway. So we may lose a Tentacool this turn, but as long as we find Tentacruel and an energy, that shouldn't be too much of a big deal. Off of these off of this research, we should be okay to try and get ourselves an energy and a Tentacruel. There's 5, 6, 7 energy in the deck, and 4 Tentacruel, so we should be fine. Especially since we haven't seen any yet. It is likely that we find them. Chaotic Swell coming down means that our Galar Mine is going to be effectively useless, but that's okay. They're going to Fion for whatever reason here. Maybe just to thin out a bench space so that they can draw more cards. Maybe just for fun. It's going to be for a quick ball. So they're going to probably play a Dedenne down here. And getting rid of another energy for us. That's brilliant. Okay, so we could be in a really good spot. Shred's going to deal 60 damage and knock us out, but they need to get into the active first, right? They need to be able to get out of the active of this Jirachi. They need a scoop up or a switch, and they find neither. Okay, this is really, really good. This is really, really good. We can capture energy onto the Tentacool. I'm thinking we grab... Or do we grab a Tentacool? I think Tentacool might be better than Clefairy. Let's just get Absol, so this Jirachi finds it harder to get out. And then let's research. We'll draw 7 cards. Crushing Hammer, very big. Let's flip heads. No, okay, that's fine. I'll play the Air Balloon down and then play the Clefairy. Let's get rid of our Professor's Research here. I want to use Crobat. We're looking for one of those 3 Tentacruels in the deck if we can get it. We'll scoop up the bench Tentacool, put that back down. That's going to give us an extra card to draw, and then Crobat for 6. And we miss. It's disappointing. That's disappointing. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We wrap for 10 for nothing because they've got resistance. Hey, at least we flipped heads for paralysis. That's fine, right? And that is something that this deck can do, is lock your opponent with paralysis. Unfortunately, though, this Crushing Hammer doesn't really matter too much. Unfortunately, we are in a position now where our opponent has 2 energy on a Dragapult, which is not what we want to see. They will get a knockout on the active if they can switch, and they will also put a lot of pressure on our benched Tentacool as well, which I don't like. There is that switch, and a Max Phantom removes our energy. That is so disappointing. If we had have managed to have found a Tentacruel last turn, then that wouldn't have happened. They would not have been able to knock us out because we would have moved one of our energies onto the Dedenne. But that's okay. We don't mind so much. I mean, being behind in these kind of games is not a problem. Now we have access to Oricorio as well to draw more cards, which is good, so we can play that down. Let's quick ball as well. Get rid of the Clefairy. I don't feel like we're going to need that. Let's grab Tentacool. Then I can put that down. I feel like Dance of Tribute is right to do first. See what we get. We found the Tentacruel. Fantastic. We can play down the Clefable here. I'm going to get rid of the Horror Psychic energy. I think we can move that into the top of the deck. I'll scoop up the Clefable, put the Clefairy back down, and then I think the best thing to do is just to Marnie. We want to remove the energy from the active Dragapult. We found the energy, which is fantastic. So I can attach with the Tentacruel. I can even play Crushing Hammer here. And if I get heads, I don't even need to put it into the active. Perfect. That's actually really good for us. So now we can kind of just hold this hand if we want to. We can attach to the Tentacruel though. It's kind of awkward because if we get Marnied, we lose the energy, but I don't want them to Crushing Hammer it. Because they obviously play Crushing Hammer themselves. So we won't play it down just yet. We'll risk it. Now our opponent can not knock out the Absol, actually. They can attack with Shred for 60, but that will not take a knockout. It'll only deal 40 damage thanks to resistance. So they won't be taking a knockout on Absol here, which is fine by me. Next turn, we can retreat into Tentacruel, attach an energy, and move that Horror Psychic from the Dragapult onto the Dedenne on the bench, which will be fantastic for us. It'll mean that they won't be able to attack with their second attack for the entire game. That's pretty much it. At this stage, they won't be able to attack with a second attack for the entire game, as long as we get an attack off every turn. This turn we will. Let's retreat into our Tentacruel and then use Wicked Tentacles. I think that's all I need to do. Let's Wicked Tentacles. We'll move this energy from the active onto the Dedenne. 30 damage down there isn't that big of a deal, but the most important thing is that they don't have energy on the active. This Crushing Hammer could be bad though. Okay. we have ourselves a problem. We've lost 2 energy, and unfortunately neither of them are the recycle energies that we have in our deck. Recycle, I wouldn't care about Crushing Hammer if I'd found recycle energy, but I've found 2 capture energy out of 3, so that's fine. They're going to attach to the active. I think they're just going to attack into me here. And it'll do 60, and that's fine. I'm thinking we can do a couple of things here. Firstly, I feel like scooping up the Tentacruel is not a bad idea. We can just remove that damage, especially if we don't have an energy. Then we can Evo Incense and remove the energy from the active if we want to. We can just use the Clefable to remove the energy from the Dragapult, which will probably be our strongest move. We didn't top deck any energy, so yeah, I think that's going to have to be the way that we go about it here. Just thinking, is there anything else that I can realistically do? I don't think that there is. Oh, I don't know. Let's play our Evo Incense, grab ourselves the Clefable. We can play that Clefable down, remove the energy from the active. We just put it on top of the deck. We know our opponent is only drawing into that energy next turn. We'll scoop up the Tentacruel. We'll put the Absol forward, because if they choose to knock that out, then we'll be able to use Oricorio, and then we can just pass. We don't really mind if they knock this Absol out. It's not too big of a deal for us, because it's going to give us more cards to draw from. So if they choose to knock it out, that's fine. I don't really mind. So yeah, now it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what they do. They've obviously got the energy in hand. We know that they top deck that because of the Clefable, and you can see 20 hit points left, right, with our Absol. So it's definitely a good piece of information that I wish I had have known earlier. That right-click button. Thank you for that, by the way. You know who you are. I don't know why I winked there. That's kind of awkward. They're attaching. Are they going to shred our active? No. They're just retreating into Jirachi. That's really interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. I wonder why that happened. That seems like a very interesting move, just allowing us an extra turn. They're just going to pass. Okay, cool. And we've managed to find another energy. Fantastic. So let's attach. We can play down our second Tentacruel, and we can just retreat from the Absol into the Tentacruel. And I think I'm just going to try and... in the next couple of turns to just move the energy between the Dedenes here. I've passed, and I realised that. And I probably should have started doing it. But, to be honest, I don't really care. So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if this pass strategy pays off. Because I feel like they are running out of energy. I feel like they're running out of energy. I'm very embarrassed because I didn't actually... Okay, so here's the thing, right? My mouse has been playing up because I'm not on my regular desk, and I didn't realise that I was hovering over the done button. And I've tried to play it off. Tried to play it cool there, because I was talking to camera, and I've accidentally clicked done. But it's fine. We're being manied. I don't really care. It's not going to be a problem. Oh my goodness gracious me. This deck is just so cruel. Oh my goodness. Okay. Heads flip. We retreat into the Tentacruel. Now we can start Wicked Tentacling. Wicked Tentacling? Let's just move it between these Dedenes. Every turn we're going to do 30 damage to these Dedenes. We have Amani in hand. 9 cards left, so we've got plenty of time. We're actually under no pressure here. And we know the second our opponent attaches energies to Dragapult, we're going to be able to move them around, right? So it's absolutely no problem for us. I feel like, as weird as it is, I feel like we're actually in a really good position. We just need to wait here and see what our opponent ends up doing. Crushing Hammer, again, which we had the recycle energies. They're in the deck specifically. There's 9 cards left in deck, and we still haven't seen a single one. They flip tails on the Crushing Hammer, which is a big deal, and there's a recycle energy. Fantastic, we can put that onto the active and then use Wicked Tentacle to move the damage across. Every turn, just a little bit of pressure, just a little bit of pressure. I feel like we're actually in a genuinely good spot. As weird as it is to say, I feel like this Tentacruel deck may be about to win. They're switching into Dedenne here. That's an interesting choice. I wonder, are they going to like attach to this Dedenne and then retreat it so that there's no energy left? That would be very funny. If that's what they choose to do, then that's... Hey, that's a fine play. They are discarding the Fion and there's an energy. So are we going to see an attachment to the active and a retreat? It looks like we are. Okay, well, I mean, that's one way to deal with this Tentacruel deck. Just retreat into the Jirachi here. But every card that they use up is a card that I don't need to wait on for them. This is actually fantastic news for me, to be honest. Scoop up net off of the Jirachi. Depends whether they choose to play it or not. They don't. They're just going to end their turn. We are set here. Let's Marnie. We can't Wicked Tentacle because there's no energy in play. So let's Marnie. We'll go looking for another one of our energy cards. We've got another Marnie left in the deck, which is fantastic news. We've got the Recycle Energy here, so we can attach to the Tentacruel in the active and then wrap, which is beautiful. It deals 60 damage. That's better than nothing. It's putting on pressure, right? We've removed most of their energy now, and we just put on a lot of pressure until eventually they either deck out, we take 6 prizes, or they concede. That's the game plan at the moment. Now we also have Marnie and Double Boss in hand, which is very, very good. It means that we're going to be able to take all of our prizes, assuming that everything goes well here. Because they've obviously got Jirachi, which we can knock out next turn, but in saying that, they're scooping it up. They're going to promote the Persian. It's got free retreat, I suppose. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It'll take a couple of turns to knock out, but we can gust up the Dedenne, which is 2 attacks away from being knocked out. And then eventually we'll be able to gust up the Dragapult, and as long as we can attack for 4 or 5 turns in a row without anything happening, we'll be able to knock that out as well. And it looks like they're going for the Ear Kinesis here to knock out the Absol, but they've used a lot of cards that turn to get that knockout, and they've given us a 1-prize attacker with 60 HP. So I'm all about that. That's beautiful. Let's just wrap, take a knockout, right? That's all we need to do. Just keep putting the pressure on. If they choose to attach energy, then we can just move it with Wicked Tentacles. If they don't, then they are never going to win this game. It's as simple as that. They cannot win the game unless they attach energy. So let's see what we're just passing now. All right, we're into the end game. Let's just wrap. Hopefully we'd paralyze them. That'd be great. Heads flip. Beautiful. Okay. So now if they do attach energy, it's fine. They just pass. Okay. Here we go. It's working. I can't believe this deck is working. Wrap. Take another 60. Heads flip. Okay, that's a bit lucky. How many more times do we need to do this? 1, 2, 3, 4 more attacks, I think. And that's the amount of cards that we have left in deck, but we also have Marnie, so that's fine. If they choose to retreat, that's all. This Whirlpool Suction's a big problem. I think I put the Tentacruel in the active. We still have another Air Balloon left. I remember seeing that earlier. We might just need to pass into it till we get it. Or we just top deck the thing. That's fine. Let's retreat. Here we go. Let's just keep going. Heads flip on the wrap. Is this the luckiest Tentacruel in the world? Hey, it is. Perfect. Okay, this is going well, ladies and gentlemen. This is going very well. They pass. We're just going to wrap again. We don't need to do anything else. Just wrap. 60 more damage. They're on 240, which means that next turn they'll be on 300. So 2 more attacks to go. If they choose to attach energy, then we can potentially get a knockout on it with an energy, what do you call it, a movement of the energy with Wicked Tentacles. They're just going to retreat. Okay, I think that I just wrapped this Jirachi. We're just going to keep attacking, right? We don't need to do too much else here. We can just keep attacking. And with the Marnie, we should eventually be able to take enough knockouts. I feel like we're fine. We could have potentially used Boss that turn, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. And we still have the Ordinary Rod as well, so it's going to be fine. They've passed it across to us. That's the last card in our deck, so we Ordinary Rod. We're going to put 2 Pokemon back in here. It doesn't really matter what they are. I guess Absol and Tentacool seem fine. Now we've got 2 turns. I feel like actually, we could do our boss now. Let's bring up the Dedenne here, because that's 2 hits away from being knocked out. We'll wrap it. I don't know if they've got switches left. I probably should have checked that before gusting, to be honest. But I feel like there's a really good chance that they just can't get this Dedenne out of the active. If we take a knockout on the Dedenne, we're actually only a few turns away from winning this game. Believe it or not, Tentacruel is only a few turns away from winning against Dragapult. So, something else. What are they going to do here? Is there anything that they want to do? Anything for them to do? There's a Quick Ball. They're going to discard another card from their deck. Seems ambitious, to say the very least. Because we've got the money. We're set with cards, right? We don't really care too much. We're going to be able to shuffle the deck. How many switches have they used? 1, 2, 3. They've used all 4 of their switches. They cannot get this Dedenne out of the active. Beautiful, fantastic. Okay, one card left in deck. We wrap. We take the knockout here on the Dedenne. Perfect. We keep flipping heads on these paralyses as well. That's pretty impressive as well. Let's take 2 prizes. There's another energy, which is probably would have been more useful a little later or a little earlier on in the game, to be honest. But that gives us extra cards to work with, right? We're just slowly getting there. We take our last card out of the deck. We play down the... maybe we attach an energy. Do we need to attach an energy? Do they have any Crushing Hammers left? 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have any Crushing Hammers left. They have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. We can just Marnie here. Put all of our cards back into the deck. They've got, what, 7 total cards? I feel like we're going to win this game on deck out. I think Tentacruel has managed to beat Dragapult. And Dragapult is not a bad deck, by the way. Let's wreck this Crobat. They've got 3 more turns left until they lose this game. And we just keep paralyzing. What? My goodness. There's the victory screen. Tentacruel won a game. Oh my goodness. I'm genuinely surprised that happened. Well, believe it or not, Tentacruel manages to get a win. I am as surprised as anyone that actually worked. And to be honest, it's not a terrible strategy. I mean, it's a bit iffy. You might not win every single game with it, but it's definitely good fun. I challenge you to win a game with that deck on the ladder. Now, I know, I normally say that it needs to win 2, but I mean, it took 20 minutes to get that one done, so I figured that it's earned its stripes. Tentacruel ticked off the OG 150 challenge as well as our Clefable. We will be seeing Clefable again, though. That is a good card. That'll be coming back at some point soon. Thank you very much for coming along and enjoying this one with me, and thank you very much to the channel members. I've had to reduce the size of the font. There's so much support. Thank you very much, everyone who has become a member recently, especially Dadbod and Azazel. Thank you very much for your generous support. Fernando, Yolo, Diego, Stephen, and Agent Abel, thank you very much for jumping into that Royal Sableye tier, and our Mega Sableyes, Victor, Connor, Dario, Stephen, whose name is there twice. I should probably delete that. Sorry, mate. You've been upgraded. You don't get your name read out twice ever again. Tom, Sparksy, Kamikaze, Josiah, Austin, and thank you very much to Stephanie for jumping on board as well. Thank you, everyone, for coming past, and I will see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.